this Elantra 2015. So you can see the curtains on. Oh, sorry, it's not seeing the key. Okay, so you can see the curtains on, but the ignition, the instrumental panel is not turning on. And I have to check why the instrumental panel is not on. So I'll go to my wiring diagram to see. But with my scan tool, I'm able to communicate with the instrumental panel. Let me go back. With my scan tool, I'm able to communicate with the instrumental cluster. So no trouble code. And it has all the live data in it. So that means I'm able to communicate with it. But it is not turning on. It's not turning on. So what I'll do is I'll trace on my wiring diagram. I'll check on my wiring diagram. So with my wiring diagram, there is the cluster fuse. I'll test it from the down. Then there is the pin. It goes at the back of the instrumental cluster. That's the pin 28. So what I'll do is I have to check the fuse, then test those two. And when I check the fuse, there's the cluster 7.5, 1, 2, 3, then 4. Okay, so I'll test that one. So with this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to check my cluster fuse is on, and this side also is on. So that means my cluster fuse is working. It's working. So I have to check the instrumental cluster too. It's not coming. It's not turning on. So what I'll do is now I have to test from the back of the cluster and see if there is any issue there. So after dismantle my cluster, this the pins that I'm searching for. So there is the two red one and the pink one. The pink one over there. So let me test for the two red one, which is constant power. Let me test for them. Okay, I'm having power on them. I'm having power on this. I'm also having power on these two pins. So let me test the pink one, and the pink one is not giving me any power. So what I'll do is let me put my pin in there. Let me put my pin in there and plug it back to the cluster. Then I'll give it power down here so that the test light will serve as a breakout or something. So I'll use it so that the test light will serve as a breakout. So I'll do that and see if the cluster will turn on, or maybe there's another issue, because when I test the fuse, the power was okay, but I don't know why I'm not getting the power at this point. So I'll do that. I'll do is I'll fuse this line in case of anything, but because I'm using a test light, so I'm not afraid it's not going to blow, because when the current is more than what the test light is giving it to, or when there is any short, the test light will turn on. So now let me, when there is any short in the system, any short circuit in the system, so now the instrumental cluster is on. So that tells me that my instrumental cluster is working, and I'm also having communication with it. So now the problem is the power from the back of the smart box to the cluster. That's where the problem will be. So I'll test it and see if there is any break in the circuit or anything. So now there is the trace that I'm going to do. Test my instrumental cluster and see why I'm getting power on the fuse, but I'm not, my cluster is not working. So when you check on this socket, you can see this instrumental cluster, sorry, this smart fuse is connected. The instrumental cluster wire is connected on I/P-F. So when you check here, you can see I/P-F. That's the back of the smart junction box. So now what I have to do is I have to test the power from this pin 15 to pin 29. So I'll do a continuity test and load it and see why I'm having that problem, or why the fuse is turning on but the cluster is not turning on. I'll check that one this moment, but for now my cluster is turning on, and the moment I disconnect this cable it goes off. Okay, so I'll do that now. So now testing for continuity from this side to this socket. So I have to test that continuity on this wire, but before that let me test it from the pin side. So which is this one. So I have to check. That's the pin 15. Okay, so now let me switch my multimeter to continuity, and you can see there is continuity. That means there is no break in that side. So now what I'll do is I will load test it and see if I'll be able to get enough power from it. And that wire only goes to the instrumental cluster, so I'm not going to damage any other component. I'm testing the continuity from this fuse to the pin out here, which is pin 15. So pin 15 is B pin, which is telling me there's continuity, there's no problem with the fuse. So now let me test the other one, which brings power to that fuse. Although the fuse is turning on, it brings power, which is this pin, and it is also working. So now I'll fix everything back, and I've seen there's electric connection here that they did that I don't know what it means. So they connected this thing here, so I have to test, or maybe I have to bridge it. I don't know why they did this connection from the main side, so I'll check it and see. Maybe this is the reason why my light is not turning on. So I'll keep on doing the diagnosis. So now what I'll do is I've fitted a pin in to see if there is power going back to the. So I'll be playing with the fuse a bit and see. You see, the moment I start wobbling the fuse, the light comes on and goes off. So which anytime the light comes on, it tells me that there is power. There is power with the ignition, with the instrumental cluster. So now I'm holding the fuse. You can see me holding the fuse, and now the instrumental cluster is on. So it tells me that it is either the fuse is not fitted properly, or maybe the fuse is having an issue. So now what I'll do is I'll just change the fuse and see. If it doesn't work, then I'll add a little bit wire to fill in the gap. It looks like it is open, and I'll do that and I'll call it a fix. Although there is power on the fuse, it doesn't mean it makes contact. So I'll replace the fuse and see. If it doesn't work, then I think I have to enlarge it, or maybe put something in it. The pin has been enlarged. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos.